Hello, you lovely ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mengs, and I welcome you guys back to Chapter 2 of my 0% Growth's All Lunatic Objectives playthrough of Andaron Saga. Starting the playthrough off here with a very important choice, to Dawncaller or not to Dawncaller. I ultimately decided to go with Dawncaller. I think it is probably the best choice for a 0% Growth run. Don't get me wrong, I really wanted that Lumina, but I think Dawn in Chapter 14 is too good to pass up. That chapter sounds absolutely hellish on 0% Growths. So I went with Dawncaller. Now, while I'm doing battle preps in the background here, I just want to get a few things off my chest. A lot of people have been asking, like, Mangs, why are you using tools for this run? And I'm actually not using TAS. This user pointed out that I'm actually doing a LOTAD, low optimization tool-assisted demonstration, not a TAS. And I think that's an important distinction to make. I'm not manipulating any RNG or anything. I just wanted to be honest with you guys about the tools that I'm using for this playthrough. I'm not going to mention any names, but there have been other figures who have been doing playthroughs like this who claims that they're not using tools while they very clearly are, because their inputs are just too damn good. And I didn't want to do that. I could definitely just have passed it off as me just playing really well, but I wanted to be honest with you guys that I'm using some tools to help me out. But I am still playing the game myself. I'm not RNG manipulating or anything like that. But if you think the TAS inputs are distracting, I can hide them. Just let me know in the comment section if you want to see my inputs or not. I'm going to hide them for now. Anyway, let's jump into this chapter, shall we? There's a lot to cover here. So Chapter 2 sees us fending off a Viking raid. We have to protect some villages while waiting for the boss to arrive on turn 8. First thing you gotta do is defeat some Vikings and save some green units. The green units will give you 50 experience when killed, so I'm gonna be giving a lot of these to Samuel because he doesn't get a lot of experience otherwise, and the 50 experience is static. So I want to try and get Samuel up to level 10 as quickly as possible, so he doesn't become that strong in Chapter 14. I'm triggering the support between Baudiman and Jaka here. I'm going to try to get them up to A rank because that gives Jaka 4 HP, and that could make the difference between him living and dying. But most of these civilians are going to go to Samuel. The Dawncaller is really nice. I'm going to use it as much as I can because, of course, it doesn't cost me anything. It's unbreakable, so it's going to conserve my weapon uses. The more I use it, the better it is. So Samuel right now, he is level 6, so he's got 4 more levels to go. This can take a little while, so I'm starting early. There are 2 other characters that I'm going to train here of my starting squad. It is Coulter and Sham. I have decided that I'm going to promote Sham to level 10 because I want to get his retainer in Chapter 28. So that's going to be very important. So here I'm using Lunatic to rescue Baudiman. This is to bring him in range of the Vikings who are going to show up on turn 2. I want to recruit them as early as possible because when they're green, they don't get experience. And particularly Bjarki, one of the Vikings, I want to get up to level 10 as quickly as possible. I know I'm going to be early promoting him. There are some chapters where he is going to be really useful, so I'm getting Baudiman up there immediately. Could use Jaka, but I find that Baudiman is easier to get in range because of his extra movement. So that's what I'm doing. So here they're arriving, Bjarki and Barrett, they turn green, and you can recruit them with either Baudiman or Jaka. I killed a Viking with Jaka. He's going to be doing some shopping. He's mostly just going to be a pack mule for this chapter. I'm going to be using him to do a bunch of shopping. He doesn't really get anything out of experience anyway. So here we go. Recruited 2 Vikings, Barrett and Bjarki. Barrett is useless in this run. I am not even going to, I'm going to chip a little bit with her, but Bjarki is the guy that I want to be feeding most of my experience to, because at level 10 he actually has pretty decent stats. Here I give a civilian to Coulter, and I'm gonna dance for him, and I'm gonna go steal a pure water that the shaman has. I don't know if this will come in handy, but it can't hurt to have it on me. There might be some chapters in the future where this pure water comes in some use, basically. So yeah, there are, as you can see, Coulter, Sham, Samuel. Those are the characters that I'm going to train along with Bjarki. The rest don't really matter that much. Again, some people have been saying, Mangs, you should early promote Lunatic. I don't know if I'm going to waste a Master Seal on her. Her magic is simply a little bit too bad. But I'll keep it as an option. At the very least, she's going to be a nice rescue bot with her staff. So on turn 3, Runa comes out of her village. She's going to run towards Baudiman. She's going to recruit herself if given the chance. Baudiman is up by the Vikings, but I do have to move him over to the west side of the map because the secret Lunatic objectives is to speak to Cassandra, his aunt, and she shows up on turn 6, and she leaves on turn 9. So you got plenty of time to speak to her, but you do have to start moving Baudiman sooner or later. It might be better to use Jaka to get the Vikings and have Baudiman move there immediately. But I'm going to have Samuel clear the way here, so it's not really going to matter. Samuel's going to be seeing by far the most amount of combat in this chapter. He is still able to double and one-run pretty much all the Vikings on the map, except for some of the promoted enemies, which you see on Lunatic. But yeah. So here, Coulter's gonna start chipping this Shaman with the help of Thea and Angelus. They're gonna be taking down those two enemies, and Coulter is going to take on a huge swath of enemies in this run. I think Coulter fans, you'll be very happy to see what I'm gonna be doing with him. He's gonna get an absolute ton of experience. So here, Baudemont gets his first level, gets nothing out of it though, but it's fine. His bases are gonna carry him. Barrett is just going to retreat off the mountain here to visit the village. I'm a little bit sad that I didn't add custom village dialogue for Vikings visiting villages. Maybe they should have just destroyed them or something. I don't know. But Bjarke is going to be hogging this mountain spot and taking on a majority of the enemies, while Jaka is relegated to shop duty. Here, I like to buy one of every item. I'm going to be using all of these items. The short weapons and the short swords are actually pretty nice for those situations where you really need to get a hit. They're also very good for training weapon experience, so I'm going to bring a few with me. So here, Coulter and Thea is going to be cleaning up the two enemies in the south. I'm going to be using Thea here, and then I'm going to be dancing for Coulter with Angelus to get him as close to the west side as possible. Here, I decide to use a fiery chant on Coulter. That's a ring which increases his crit rate by 10% for 5 turns. The reason I'm doing this is because Coulter's going to be taking on like 7 enemies at once, and he's not going to be doing that much damage. So if he gets a couple of crits, that's going to help him clear them out. And I do want to clear them out eventually, because I need Coulter to go into the center where there are some stealables. Again, he's a very, very important unit right here. So I was contemplating popping the Lunatic Samuel support. It is available on this map, but I decided against it because I might want to do some shenanigans with Samuel and Fred later on. Fred is going to join the turn after this. They have a very quick support that gives Battle Veteran to Fred, which would actually, like, help him. It would actually, like, incentivize me to level up Fred because he would get something out of it. So I haven't decided if I'm going to do that yet, but I decided to hold off on the Samuel Lunatic support because it doesn't really give me that much. It gives Lunatic, I think, Live to Serve, which not really something that she needs. So time to do some more shop duty with Jaka. Just going to get one of every item. I even picked up a torch just for the hell of it. You never know, they might come in handy. Don't think it's going to be all that useful, but you never know. So here, Coulter is going to be taking on a massive throng of enemies. Just look at the amount of units coming towards Saruna's village right here. He's going to be taking them all on. This is why I decided to give him the crit ring, because, as you can see, Coulter's damage output is already kind of falling off a little bit. And it's just going to get worse from here. So I want to get him up to level 10 while I still can, while the enemies aren't too strong, so that I can early promote him to a rogue the moment I get a Master Seal. I don't know if he'll be my first target, but we'll see. So here, Samuel is moving into the middle. He's going to be pulling that warrior as well as the 2 shamans. I'm visiting the houses with Sham because they give 10 experience. I figured, why not? You know, it's experience that's just there. I should get as much experience on my units as I can while they're able to. And Fred is going to go and assist Coulter in the southwests. So yeah, this is going to be quite the enemy phase for Coulter. As you can see right here, there's a lot of units attacking him, and he does have a small chance to die. But overall, he should be pretty safe. Like, most of the enemies have a less than 20% chance to hit him, which with true hit is like less than 10 in actuality. So he's going to be fine here. The only like 2 scary targets are the archer and the shaman, who can deal quite a lot of damage to him. I think the warrior has like 0 hit on him in the forest, so that's fine. So here you can see he gets a crit thanks to the ring. I'm not sure. This is why I decided to give him the fiery chant. So Samuel has engaged that warrior in combat. Usually that warrior just gets killed by Cassandra when she shows up, but if you can pull her in early, she can give you quite a lot of experience. So I like to kill her with one of my promoted units like Samuel or Baudemont, because pre-promoted units are worth quite a lot. So Samuel just leveled us up here. He's now level 7, so he's got 3 levels to go until he hits that level 10 benchmark. That also like gives him extra bonus from his personal skill, which is really nice. That's like 5% extra hit, 2 extra damage, or 5% extra hit, 1 extra damage from his battle veteran. So I'm kind of happy with that. You can see enemies are boxing up around Coulter here. So yeah, we are now on turn 5. Baudemont is going to start moving towards Cassandra. Samuel is going to start to soften up this warrior. This warrior I'm actually going to give to Sham. So you'll see what I'm going to do in a little bit. Again, focusing heavily on getting Sham to level 10 as soon as possible. It's probably not going to be that hard. He's already level 5. But Bjarki's just sticking around. I decided to heal Runa. I wasn't really sure if it was needed or not, but I decided, you know, why not? Maybe I want to use her to chip a little bit. Here, I'm sending Coulter into the mountains, and he actually did take a hit, so I'm using a concoction on him just to be safe. While Thea goes to get the steel blade from the village. Don't really know if this will be useful. Victoria might be able to find some use for it in Chapter 3, I'm not sure. And whatever enemies Coulter has not mopped up, Fred is going to get to mop up on the next turn. I do need to visit this house. It drops an antitoxin, which can be traded in for a holy axe in Chapter 4. And the house gives a little bit of a void too, which is nice for Fred. I'm going to be equipping a javelin. Slightly scary move, but I think he'll be fine. And Barrett is pretty much just standing around cheering for Bjarki here. So here Fred is going to take some enemy fire. He did get hit there, which reduces his perfectionism skill. Or he doesn't get the benefit from that anymore, which made me a little sad. But hey, what can you do? But Bjarki's actually going to take a lot of damage here. I might have to concoction with it next turn. And the warrior is going to go for Baudimon. But Coulter, yeah, you can see he's still here. Coulter still has to mop up a lot of enemies in this general area. Although I think most of the ranged enemies will go for Fred right here. As you can see, the warrior has like a... Well, that guy has a 51% chance to hit on him. We'll see if the warrior has any more. I think the warrior does quite a number on him, actually. So here I saw, okay, Baudimon actually didn't kill the warrior. That means I can probably set up the warrior for someone else. Fred takes a bit of a pounding here. I actually think he had a small chance of death. You also got to be careful about the longships because they have longbows, and they're actually pretty accurate, so you want to be cautious moving your units within tree range of the longships. You don't get any experience for attacking them, so there's no point. You can like clear them out if you want to make things a little bit easier for you. So here, Runa recruits herself on Baudimon, and Cassandra shows up, along with some more Viking reinforcements. So I have about 3 more turns until Cassandra leaves. So this will be pretty easy to pull off. But here I decide, you know what, there's a warrior right there. Baudimon doesn't really need to kill her. Samuel doesn't really need to kill her. So I'm like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna kill that warrior with Sham. It will cost me a rescue use, but I think it's going to be worth it. Fred is also a unit that I'm probably gonna promote at 10 because his bases are by far the highest out of any unpromoted unit that joins your party in the early game. So I think he's going to be carrying me for quite a while. But here, I actually manipulate Sham's rescue position by putting Jaka north of Lunatic, which makes Sham go to this tile right here. Otherwise, he would have gone to the tile above her. And then I can use Sham to kill the warrior to almost get a full level, which is really nice. So Sham is getting close to level 10. I decided to chip here a little bit with Barrett because I really want Bjarki to be facing more enemies. Even though I know I'm not going to use Barrett a lot in this run. She's pretty useless because her bases are not that great. But here I do decide to trade over the Iron Axe to Bjarki because these fighters are a little bit hard to hit with their swords. So I'm like, let's give the guy a little bit more of a fighting chance. And what I'm doing now is I'm basically just preparing for the boss's arrival in the center of the map. I'm going to try to have as many units there as possible, so that I can just nuke down his squad immediately. I also need to steal a white shard from a shaman that's going to show up. And yeah, that's how I plan to beat this map. However, at this point, I realized that, oh, I actually haven't visited Runa's village yet, and Runa's a little bit out of position. So, while you can visit the village with Runa, you don't really get anything out of it, aside from, like, special dialogue. So I actually decide that I'm going to be visiting the village with Fred, since he's already down there. But now you can see I'm basically spawn camping the Vikings. The last 2 enemy ships are going to arrive on that little sandy shoal there. I get a critical hit with Dawncaller on the boat, because why not, you know? I was like, why not kill it? It's kind of annoying. Let's get rid of it. So here, I do want to train Samuel's bow rank a little bit, because I want to get him up to C rank in bow, so he can use great bows in Chapter 7. So I'm keeping the short bow, actually, because I want to train the other bow over to Runa. Runa's not going to be a character that's going to see a lot of run in this, a lot of use in the 0% growth run. Her bases are just too low, but her hunting bow will be nice in the next chapter for sure. But I'm going to be using the short bow and Samuel because the short bow gives a lot of weapon experience when used, and that's going to be very nice. Getting Samuel up to great bow rank is nice because he can one-shot Wyvern Lords with it in Chapter 7, and he's very accurate with it too, so it's extremely nice. But here, I'm kind of just setting up my concave right here. I got a little bit of a wall of units. I got Lilith in the back healing, and that means the chapter is pretty much done. But there's still some things I gotta do. I chip a little with Barrett here with the hand axe. I want to get rid of these unpromoted units with Bjarki so I can get that nice chip experience for the warrior. Really want to kill that warrior because he's worth a lot of experience. And now Fred is making his way towards Runa's village. That hunting bow is too good to pass up. It's not exclusive to Runa. It can also be wielded by Samuel, which is extremely nice. Bjarki just hit level 6. He's got 4 more levels to grow before I can give him that Master Seal. Promoting him up to warrior is going to be such a help in particularly Chapter 8 because he can use the Ballista, which is nice. So, yeah, I'm killing the enemies as they spawn right here. I pretty much got this map on lockdown. And I do believe the boss is going to show up next turn. And Bjarki's getting a nice lucky hit against this warrior too, which is nice. Runa's actually in range of a longbow, but she's in a mountain, so she's fine. This just gives Lunatic some more stuff to heal, which is not that terrible. So here comes the boss of the chapter, Trim the Berserker. He's very easy to kill. He's got a lot of HP, but his defense and resistance are basically non-existent, so he's a very easy boss to kill. Almost everyone on your team can deal with him. But first, let's talk to Cassandra, get the Silver Sword and the 50 experience. That's the secret Lunatic objective completed. And Baudimon's pretty much gonna sit around and do nothing for the next turn. But here I realized something. I realized that I actually need an extra turn, because Fred has not visited Runa's village yet, and I definitely want to do that. So what I do here is I set up a defensive perimeter in such a way where I know that none of my units will get killed. In fact, I put Samuel right in front of the boss, hoping that the boss will go for Samuel. He will not. He's going to go for Thea, I think. But Thea is so dodgy, that's not really going to be an issue. So there's also a Shaman right there. That Shaman has a white shard, and that is a stealable that I really want. It gives +1 rest, but again, any stat booster that I can get my hand on, I really want. So let's send that to Convoy. Might give that to Sham's sister later on when she joins for increased glacial damage. Don't know yet. And yeah. So I have to be at the mercy of the boss for 1 turn, and that's a little bit scary because he does have some very nasty, like he does have a lot of crit. But he's also very inaccurate, so Thea should be able to dodge his attacks. So here he comes. Bjarki's gonna enjoy taking fire from all sides here, which is very good for his experience gain. I think he gets like at least 1 more level on this map, which is nice. This guy is a Lance Reaver, I think, so he's very easy to hit. So Samuel takes a little bit of damage here. He's also in range of 2 longships, but he's pretty tanky, so he should be fine. Bjarki gets a crit there on the warrior, which I was very happy to see. So he's level 7 now, only 3 more levels to go until he can get his promotion. And, oh, Trim actually goes for Coulter, not Thea. And Coulter gets a crit on him, but luckily he has so much HP that he doesn't kill him. So Coulter gets a bit of boss ship experience too, which is kind of nice. So I am pretty recklessly in range of like a bunch of longships here, but I am fine still. And yeah, there's the final turn of the run. Fred visits the village, picks up the hunting bow, gets the experience. And now it's just a simple matter of trying to kill as many enemies as possible, get as much experience as I can to get my units up to promotion. So yeah, I'm not going to be killing that last warrior, which is a bit of a shame. But Coulter finishes off that Viking, and then it's pretty much the boss. And I decide to give this boss kill to Sham, because again, I want to get Sham to level 10. And with that, Trim falls, Sham goes up to level 7, I get the Devil Axe. The secret Lunatic objective is a success. And that is Chapter 2 of my 0% growth run cleared, with everyone recruited, and pretty much all the treasure obtained, I believe. I don't think, maybe there's like a torch I didn't steal, but that's pretty much about it. So we get Runa, we get the Vikings, we get Fred, and then we get to continue on to Angwik's Forest, which is going to be a rough one for sure. This is going to be the point where we're going to start to feel the 0% growths, but I think it's going to be fine. I have some good strategies for that run as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are enjoying this playthrough. Please give it a like and a comment if you are. Give me advice in the comment section. I'm pretty much recording these as I am uploading them, so the comments are going to be very recent. If you post a comment, I will probably have read it by the time the next episode goes live. So, any advice that you can give me, I will definitely appreciate. And I believe this can be done, ladies and gentlemen. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.